Three-row MPVs, luxury and space often don't go hand in hand. In fact, mostly they do not. And that is why the car that we have for you today is unique, is different, and ladies and gentlemen, it is the Kia Carnival. Yes, it is the return of the Kia Carnival in the Indian market. This time around, the fourth generation comes in one fully loaded version. It has a premium price point, but for that price point, it is offering a whole lot and promising even more. You're watching HT Auto, I'm Shubhadeep, and in today's episode, we are focusing on the Kia Carnival Limousine Plus that makes its India comeback. The Carnival was always a mammoth vehicle, but now in its fourth generation, it is bigger than ever before. The length, width, height, and even the wheelbase has gone up compared to the version we had in our country previously. And as much as I hate to gender typecast the design of any car, the Carnival's face now is evidently masculine because of these prominent tiger nose grille that's flanked by the LED projection lights and LED DRLs. The LED fog lamps find a place towards the bottom where the chrome-plated skid plate has been updated as well. The proportions of the vehicle, however, is most evident from the side. At 5135 mm in length, the Carnival looks absolutely humongous, but fairly sporty as well. The 18-inch diamond-cut alloy wheels, the C-pillar garnish, and side sill garnish add a lot of visual flavor, while the roof rails and large windows add character. At the back, things are fairly and comparatively simpler with LED connected tail lamps, rear fog lamps, and matte chrome plated skid plates. Now, the massive proportions of the Carnival on the outside obviously translates into massive proportions on the inside. The Carnival comes in a 2+2+3 setup. That's the only setup you get, 7 seats on the inside. But the real throne inside this proverbial palace are these two captain seats here. Before we get into the specifics of the space here, it is important for me to point out that getting in and out of this car is so easy. In fact, my elderly parents would find this one of the easier of the larger vehicles to get in and out. The floorboard here is quite low, so the grab handle here, and you can just easily, regardless of your age and physical condition, get in as well as get out. The seats are also phenomenally comfortable. In fact, the fourth generation Carnival has better cushioning than the previous Carnivals that we've experienced in the past. The dedicated seats here, the headrest also has a bit of a curvature, so clearly the place to be at. You get the armrests here and on the side as well. You have acres and acres and acres of space. Really, it's obvious from what you see here. There's no need for me to get into the specifics of the leg room, under thigh support, or even the headroom, because all of these are phenomenally well done. Now, you're seated slightly higher than the driver's seat, so you get a nice generous view of what's at the front. You can get a clear view of the highway if you are on a long journey, so that's good too. You get 3-zone climate control. The buttons here on the side and the vents do a good job of keeping you cool. Speaking of keeping you cool, these seats here, both of them also get cooling functionality, and if you're somewhere in the northern parts of the country, you also get heating functionality on these seats. As far as storage space is concerned, you get cup holders on the back of the center console. You get another small cup holder on the door, which is good for a half a liter bottle, nothing bigger than that, and you get a net here on the back of the front two seats. On the flip side though, there is no fold out tray. So if you're someone who has the need to, well, take calls and attend meetings or complete your office work on the move, your laptop literally is a laptop. Bit strange because even the Karen's, which is several segments lower than the Carnival, has a fold out tray. So that's a bit of a miss, and instead this is probably how you would have to work on the move. Another bit of a miss inside the Carnival is that while it is comfortable and has heating and cooling, there is no massage functionality. Now I know that I'm nitpicking here, but considering how much Kia is underlining the comfort quotient, a massage functionality could have been great. The charging options are a lot many here. You get a 12-volt charging point here, a mobile storage space at the bottom of the center console, and you also get a Type-C charging point on the back side of the front passenger seat. Now in times of panoramic sunroof, you don't get a panoramic sunroof per se inside the Carnival. What you do get are twin sunroofs here, with each having their dedicated control buttons. Now what I also really like inside the Carnival are these huge, in fact humongous windows here. You also get privacy screens to keep the elements out. For now though, the weather in Bangalore is perfect, so I'll keep this down, but in case it's hot and you want some privacy, you can always make use of this as well. Speaking of space and comfort, I keep returning back to that. There is a whole lot of it. Unfortunately though, there are two levers for you to adjust the seat, front and back and left and right. Maybe electronic adjustment for these seats could have been better, but instead you'll have to make the pull function here to move the seat forward or back, or even left and right. Now this left and right function is very important because that is the way you open up space to access the last row seats. Speaking of the last row, well, the passage here and the space here makes getting into that last row easy, fairly easy, but I would still not recommend this for elderly people or people who are on the bit of a plump side, like me perhaps. As far as space and comfort on the third row inside the Carnival is concerned, it's probably the best that you will get in this segment or for any car in this category and in our market at present. Getting in and out, as I mentioned, is a bit of a task, but once you do make your way to these seats, you are fairly comfortable. Of course, under thigh support takes a bit of a hit, but knee room is quite generous. Space for my feet is also pretty decent, and this isn't exactly a compromise like how it is in many 3-row MPVs segments above, at par with the Carnival or below, especially the segments below. You get dedicated aircon vents here, you get multiple cup holders on the side, and there are Type-C charging points on either side of the vehicle as well. For privacy, once again, you get a manual sunshade here, and you can actually pack in 7 people even on long journeys who would all of them be fairly comfortable without, very importantly, compromising on the boot space at the back. Open the trunk and there is ginormous amount of luggage space even with all 3 rows of seating up. A low lift angle helps, while the depth of the trunk allows for bags to be placed one on top of another. Of course, the unique split folding mechanism on the last row seats generously adds even more space to pack in luggage of the entire neighborhood. The aesthetics of the Carnival is also pretty decent with a beige plus black color combination. You get 64 color ambient lighting system, which is pretty much standard fare on cars these days. You also get 12.3 inch main infotainment screen and another 12.3 inch all digital driver display. Both of these screens are in the same casing, which is a curved display, which further elevates the premium appeal of the Carnival. Steering wheel is a standard fare once again. You get mounted controls for infotainment system as well as controlling ADAS functionality. And yes, Carnival does come with level 2 ADAS functionality with over 20 features on the drive mode. The massive center console provides a wireless charging pad, multiple Type-C charging points and a 12-volt charging socket as well. Minimal use of physical buttons apart from buttons for controlling the air conditioning unit. The dashboard is fairly large, the aircon vents are nicely placed, and there is a whole lot of premium appeal on the dashboard in terms of stitch, finish and quality materials used. The front 2 seats also get cooling functionality. You can also adjust the position electronically on the front 2 seats. There is no sunglass holder here, but what you do get is a 12 speakers Bose surround sound system inside this vehicle. Powering a vehicle as big as Carnival requires an engine with a whole lot of heart. So under the hood is a 2.2 litre diesel unit that is paired to an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now, as much as I love to drive, in the Carnival I'm making an exception because of how great these seats in the middle are. I've spoken about the space and the comfort. But well, all of that gets elevated further, especially if you're on a long highway journey. It's raining right now in Bangalore, and the best way to enjoy drives like these, if you're being driven around, is to convert these seats into recliners. Press of a button and the backrest goes significantly back, and another press of a button and the footrest comes out as well. So on long journeys, of course, this is quite a pleasant way to experience the surrounding beauty of our country roads. What elevates the experience of being in the middle seats is also the ride quality on offer, because while space and all are very important, it would make for nothing if you are driving on bad roads and you're actually feeling every single bump. Thankfully though, the Carnival actually absorbs all the road aberrations pretty well. Control over NVH levels is phenomenally good, and even when the driver is pushing the car around, and remember, the Carnival isn't the sportiest of cars for you to be driving aggressively in, but if the driver is in a hurry, suppose you have to catch a flight, you are pushing this car around turns and bends. The amount of body roll that happens in these seats is pretty less, and that's impressive also because the side bolstering is minimal, and while Kia could have probably worked on the side bolstering, increased this a little bit more, the body is actually quite comfortable, and I'm having a nice and pleasant experience here. What is remarkably surprising is how car-like the drive character is on the move, despite the mass of this MPV. The Carnival does indeed drive like a rookie sprinter despite measuring in as a bodybuilder. The steering weight and tuning has a big role to play in helping Carnival move the way it does, while the engine has enough muscle power to pull it ahead. There is some grunt from the otherwise refined motor when the Carnival is being raced, but then again, it is not exactly meant to go anywhere in a mad rush. Instead, the softish suspension manages to keep things planted inside the vehicle, and despite the visually low ground clearance, not once did the underbelly struck these broken roads we forced the Carnival into. At rupees 64 lakhs, even before taxes kick in, the Kia Carnival is quite an expensive MPV to buy. Of course, it benefits from the fact that there is no direct competition, but then again, Kia as a company doesn't really have that brand image to justify the price tag, at least not at the moment. But on its own, the Carnival is targeting a very sophisticated, elite and informed customer, a customer who just does not want to be driven around, but be driven around in a sense of luxury and opulence. For the masses, Kia already has the Karens, but for that elite buyer, the Carnival perhaps makes a lot of sense. What do you make of the new Kia Carnival? Do let us know. In this episode though, that's all the time we have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to read our in-depth written review as well. As I said, thank you for your time. Always wear your seatbelts. Stay safe, drive safe.